Okay, I'm going to document how to rebuild the Westfield Reverse gearbox. In front of me you've got all the bits laid out. We've got the two prop shaft adapters, and if you look closely you can see there's you can see that on there. There's a line onto there. That's where the actual oil seal sits against. So if you're going to clean it up, don't damage that line there. Make sure it's got a continuous line all the way around, and if it has, you're probably going to get a good seal. If it hasn't got a line all the way around, it's probably warped, so that will be where the oil's leaking. Okay, we've also got a retainer that holds in the reverse gear selector arm, which is on here, so that goes into there, and there's a little notch on the shaft, so it holds it in place and locks it in. We've got the main drive on here, and you can notice it's got a dog drive, and it's got a chain drive, a bearing face, and that's where the adapter goes onto there. So in effect that goes onto there, yeah? That then, put that to one side, is in two parts. The main shaft is in two parts. As you can see, that's the main drive through the middle. And if you look closely, I don't know if you can catch that on the light. I can't really see. But inside there is two bearings, needle bearings there are. There's one on the end there, and there's one inside about here somewhere. And you can see one sits on there and one sits on that face there. So when that's together, like that, you see, it rotates, it's in two parts. Right. There's a copper washer, goes onto there, make sure it stays on there. Right, before that goes together, there is a dog gear. Now this dog gear, if you look closely, the castellations on here are different. Now this drives the main forward gear, so what you do is you make sure that there, if you look closely, can you see the gaps on the teeth? They're quite small. See that? Now if I turn that round, it's a lot bigger. So make sure that goes on that way around, and then when you let your foot off the clutch, you'll get no drivetrain shunt. So make sure it goes that way around. Okay, so this dog gear goes onto splines there. Okay, then assemble the two together like that. That goes into there. Next we have the reverse drive gear. Now you notice there's a needle bearing in there as well. Just so happens that that needle bearing and the other two and the other part were okay this time. It's also got the dog drive on there. Now that lines up with the dog on here when you go into reverse, because this drives the reverse shaft. You'll see in a minute. So that slides onto there against the washer like that. Okay, free rolls. Okay, now if you notice that doesn't free roll because of the dog's locked it. When you select reverse, that slides, and that allows the main shaft to rotate separately. Okay, so that's in reverse now. When you go forwards, it drives straight through the middle. Yeah. So it's easy to see it when I put it together. Okay. Just temporary together, right, so you can see it. So there you go. That's in and out. Okay. So engine drives this, can't remember which way around it is, but the engine drives it, and if you notice, that's won't move. So you select reverse, and now it can go the other way, because as this drives the chain, it turns around. Yeah, so that sits onto there like that. Okay, so this drives the chain drives this, and this turns it the other way. Yeah, with me? So as that goes, anyway, you'll see. That's the basic principles of it. So to put this together in the box, quite simple. I'll take them drive flanges off, put them over there, out the way. Don't need them now. Okay. We've also got on here, it's looks like a bronze bushing. This bronze bushing goes into there. See the little recess? So if I slide that down to there, it fits into that slot, into that recess. Can you see that? Right. It goes like that, in 2 bits. It's a bit of a pig to fit, slides off, you see. So it's easier to do it standing up. So it goes like that, and that stops that gear from moving on the shaft. Okay. Now the bearing inside. Oops. The camera. The bearing inside. I'll just use the old bearing, the ones inside. When you put the casing on, that will. See, it slides off, so you gotta be careful when you do this. The bearing sits on there and holds that bronze bushing in. So that's how it stays together. So that bearing is the one in the casing in there. That's the old one. I'll put the new one in already. So, false to bits. So that's how it goes together. And where's the other one? There's the other one there. There's the other bearing. So that's 2 bearings sit in the casing wall. Yeah, are you with me? So that's how it assembles together. Dead easy. Okay. Take that off. We don't need that. Take that off, and it falls to bits. Right, so how do you put it together? Dead simple. Right, we want that bushing in there to stay in, because it's the right peg. Okay. Now, remember, we have to get this to line up with the reverse selector. Has to go into there, so I'll give you an idea which way around it goes. There's a bit of muck in there. So I'll just put that on one side a second. Now you can see the casing on here. This is the modified version that I've done. It's got 2 new bearings. This one's held in with a circlip. To get that circlip in and out, you need a good pair of circlip pliers. And if you use a straight pair of circlip pliers, it'll come out. You're really good ones. The 2 bolts on the side, these are your oil level, and this one is, see that? This is your oil drain. If you can see on the look. So you can drain your oil out through there and fill it up through there. The level is always to the the level is always to the bolt hole. Okay. Let that down. It's getting on my nerves. This is your selector that goes onto there and slides backwards and forwards. Okay. On the top, I've got a breather. The old breather had a pinhole through the middle of there, and it used to pour oil out of a little pinhole on the top. So I've blocked that pinhole up with a little metal pin, so now that won't leak at all, and the vapour will go up this banjo, up the tube. The tube then attaches to a clutch. Let's show you in the shot. It's a clutch master reservoir, so oil can go into there and drain back. The outlet is on the bottom, so it should just drain back into the tank when it's finished with what it's doing. So let's assemble this. So I take the main shaft, take the bronze bush, keep it upright, okay. Take the casing, rotate it round, and slide it and the bush falls out. Let's have another go at that. Come on, there you go. Good stuff. Okay, that's one more go. So let's put this on the bearing. That's a catch on. Let's give it a bash. There she goes. Okay, there we go. It's assembled. That was just the dog gear moving. So now we have the bronze bush is fitted behind the gear to keep it off the wall as well. Okay, and you can see the dog slide in there. So, dead easy. The other part of the gearbox is the lay shaft on here. Now this basically is your reverse gear. It's driven by this wheel, this gear on there. To put this in, dead easy, slide it in. There you go. And there we are. Turns. Make sure the gears are lined up the teeth. Let me see that. Down the way. Make sure the gears are flush there and the turn nice and clean. There's no damaged teeth or anything. You can notice these sprockets drive the reverse chain. Okay, so these things out the way. Right, so what's next? Well, we need to put in the. Stand it up. How's that? So you can see there. We need to put the chain on. The chain's dead easy. It's a motorbike chain. I think it's off a scooter. You obviously buy a full chain. You've got to cut it to length. There's various ways of cutting a chain. I'll leave it to you to find that one because it's a chew. But if you've done it before, it's dead easy. It really is easy. You can use this thing to rejoin it. It's a split link. It'll come with the chain. If it doesn't, get one. Really good idea. And it's dead easy. When you get the old chain, make sure that the old chain has what length it is and get this exactly the same length. Obviously, my old one was seized, so the links wouldn't move, so make sure they're free moving. The rollers in the middle it fell to bits because it didn't get enough oil. So to fit this chain, dead easy. Just wrap it round, rotate it to a gap there, and then push the split link through the hole like that, and then the top half of the chain, if I can pick it up, top or bottom. Just pop that over the top, like so. And on here you have a kind of circlip, you can see that. See that? I'll hold it with this pliers, you can see it better. There you go. It's just a plain old circlip, but designed for the chain. To fit this, you pop it over the chain pins. Okay, now it needs to be clipped on with some pliers. So, it's easy. One side on the pin, one side on the clip. There you go, it's on. Just make sure it's sitting properly and it moves freely. That's good. Right, that's sorted, and it rotates, as you can see. So, as you can see, the whole lot rotates. Everything rotates when you're driving. So, if I was to select reverse, where's that forwards? That's in reverse and forwards. So, I can't remember which way we're going. It's hard to see. That's reverse. So, in forwards, can't see which way I'm going here. It's upside down. Let's turn this the right way around. There we go. There we go. Let's see what I'm doing now. Right. Let's get this side. Okay. Right. We're actually turning the shaft there and we're going in a forwards direction. So you can see that the dogs have that narrow gap. There's no gap there. So that there is forwards. As you can see, the shaft here is turning the same way as there. But if you notice that the chain turns always, right? It doesn't just turn when you're in reverse. So that chain has to be good and it has to be kept oiled. That's why mine failed. The oil level didn't reach the bottom of the chain to keep it lubricated. And then literally the chain just seized up. Hang on, I might have it here. This is my chain. Look at the links. The links don't sit. It's seized up. Lack of oil, overheating. So make sure that the chain keeps a good supply of oil. So we're going forwards there. So if you select reverse, you're moving the dog, and the dog lines up and locates in there, okay, onto this gear. So this gear now is driving the top layer shaft and driving the chain. So remember, this is in two parts, the big shaft. So you're driving this, which drives through, drive here, reverse, and it goes backwards, yeah. So now if you notice, this is going the opposite way to the input. So we're going in reverse. Okay. And just show it a bit easier, I'll put the drive flange on. Come on. Get on there. Okay. And the other one. Right. So engine input turns the gearbox. That's the other way. This is the engine input, this side, because this is the back of the gearbox. Engine is this side. So turning the gearbox in, and you notice that the output is going in reverse. Select with the dog, fingers there, and we're going the same way, but either way the chain does turn all the time, so it has to be kept lubricated. So if you notice, this here is going to throw oil into the top, so I don't know how much oil is going to end up in this pipe. It's an experiment. I've seen it on another car actually, and they seem to be working okay. So you can see this is your oil level. It should be around here somewhere. It doesn't need a lot of oil, because this is your filler plug, your level plug filler. So the oil level is only around here, which isn't very much. So if I remove that output flange, input flange, that one, input, output, the shorter bit is on the back. That's the old bearing. So what's next? Right. The mating face on here doesn't have any gasket at all, so you have to make sure this is immaculate. Do not damage it, mark it or anything, because it will leak if you otherwise. There's a dowel pin on each face and one on the other one here. Okay, and they locate the two parts together. I just put this to one side a sec. On the other half, it's the same thing in reverse, only it's a deeper casing. And you can see on here the damage that happened when the chain failed. Can you see the casing where the chain gouged all the way around? Made a right mess. Luckily there was no major damage to the parts. A lot of these parts you just can't buy, you can't buy them. They're unavailable anymore. So we can do this, put it together now. This part here needs some sealer applying to it. So you do this pipe all the way. I'll remove that pipe, I think. What is it, 17? Now this banjo is an M12 by 1.5 banjo. The thread is an M12 by 1.5. Okay. I had to do some modifications to it to get it to fit. If you notice on there, one side I've had to grind off a bit because it wouldn't fit past the bracket. It's quite an awkward fit. It fits in against the bracket. I'll just lift the camera. It just fits against the bracket on the top and it folds it. We'll put that to one side for now. It's just getting in the way. Put these together, keep it tidy. Right, I need to seal this up. I think everything's together. Oh, that's it. We'll put the dog gear in while we're here. To fit the dog gear is dead easy. I'll rotate the other way around. The dog gear selector shaft. That's it. Into there, like that. So every time you select gear, it's that. You literally just slide in the shaft backwards and forwards. Okay, dead easy. It's not very easy to show, so I hope you can see. See? Dead easy. You need to lock this, otherwise it'll slide around. Okay. The way you do that is that hole there. There's a little indent in the shaft that lines up, and this ball pin here. I'll just adjust the camera a little bit. This spring-loaded ball here lines up with the shaft inside there, so you pop that in there. It's a bit of a tricky to fit, so bear with me. First time, that's good. So pop that in there, and now when I get this lined up, it should lock itself in. This face here on the selector shaft, can you see that straight face? That stops the whole arm from spinning round. Can you see that? It will turn inside the box if there was nothing to stop it. It's stopped by that face there hitting the inside of the box. When I put this lid on, it'll hit the side and it stops it turning round. This here is a stop, and it helps to locate when you slide the outer bit. Need some oil on it. There you go. And that's how that works. So line it roughly up to there, so when the lid comes down, it'll just miss that. So now I need to put some sealer on here. Seal it up. This is the fun part. Oh, back in a minute while I seal this up, because it'll take a while.